Hey guys, this is Stubborn Weeb. While I was editing the video, I realized that we mentioned that there are non-spoiler parts to the movie that we talk about, and then there were going to be spoiler bits, but it kind of all got jumbled into one big mess, so I just wanted to give you guys a fair warning that this is a full spoiler review, so if you've not seen it, or just care about spoilers, then don't watch it. Hold off, but yeah, it's a full spoiler review, so just letting you know. Anyway, on with the video. Thank you. Hey there guys, how's it going? This is our review for The Rise of Skywalker.
We went and saw it last night, and we were both pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was kind of ready for a train wreck just because of some of the leaks and...
Yeah, everything I saw of it was saying that it was a really bad movie. But I think this trilogy so far has been kind of mixed. Like, the first movie was not good, but it wasn't bad. I mean...
No, one of my favorite things about that movie was Kylo Ren stuff.
Yeah.
Like when he killed his dad and stuff, that was a legitimate surprise moment.
Yeah, the only problem that I have with this trilogy is that it seems like this movie is just kind of a continuation from the first movie, and like the second movie almost didn't have much consequence.
It really didn't, because the Resistance was still kind of small in the first movie, and it's still small in the third movie, so if you take out all of the Jedi stuff with Luke and them, it almost doesn't matter.
Yeah, the second movie, I think the only plot point that they really continue from the second movie is the Luke stuff, like her getting trained to be a Jedi, and that's it.
Yeah, everything else is just kind of dropped. You could even go in without knowing Snoke died.
You could.
I mean, they mentioned Snoke, but it's kind of just brushed over.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, I guess the Emperor's kind of there. Yeah, I love the beginning scroll. I love whenever it's like, Emperor sent out a message, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, The Last Jedi left off on nothing.
Yeah, there was no real way to continue it from that point. And like I said before, like while I was talking to you whenever we first got out of it, there is a time skip between each movie, you know, but they usually have something that happens at the end of the last movie that they continue, but they didn't really do that.
No. It ended with Rey and them being like, we need to start out the Resistance again, and it's kind of, if it was anything, I would think, okay, so the next movie will be about rebuilding the Resistance.
But they really didn't.
It was just kind of there.
Yeah, they kind of just, we're doing spoilers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because we haven't really spoiled anything yet. We just talked about stuff that was in the trailers.
I'll put in a spoiler warning because we talked about... No, we didn't. I thought we talked about some stuff with Snoke, but we didn't. We just talked about how...
The Emperor, and how he died in the last movie.
Yeah, and it was kind of brushed over in this one.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a spoiler review. Is there any thing we can put for non-spoilers, though?
I think the characters were good. Like, I think the character development in this one was more than any other of the movies.
Yeah, it was very good.
Especially Kylo's story.
Kylo's was very good in this one. I thought Kylo's was good throughout all of them. The second one bothered me because he was just frustrated the whole time and nothing ever got resolved with him.
Yeah, and this, it seemed like, I guess, I think that second movie does kind of need to be there, though, to show you a little bit more why Kylo is how he is, you know?
Yeah, it was very important for his backstory, but as far as developing him more, it was also important for Luke. I know a lot of people hate how Luke was handled in there, but I thought it was fine. I think the more mature a character gets, especially they'll start to approach some darker stages of their life. He was probably kind of already there, and I think seeing a different take on Luke wasn't that bad, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't agree with some of his actions, like chucking the lightsaber. No matter how morbidly depressed I am, I probably still ask, where'd you get this? I lost this. Like,
yeah. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know. Luke always was kind of just like whiny and a little bit selfish, you know, throughout the whole original trilogy. He
was. I recently watched a video on it describing Luke's character in The Last Jedi because I just heard so many people complain about how awful he was. And then I looked at some clips and I was like, yeah, he's not always just super hopeful and optimistic.
Yeah.
It probably helped out. He wanted to kill Kylo and stuff to protect his friends because he saw how out of hand Anakin was, even though he was good.
And like I said, Luke always was kind of a flawed character throughout the entire series.
Oh, definitely.
Because he never... And that's one thing. I think the last real Jedi we saw were in the prequels. Because Rey and Luke don't really follow the Jedi code.
No, because, yeah, even Luke, he got a week or two worth of training on Dagobah?
No, it was longer than that.
It was longer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's
It
been a
was
while
like an
since
extended period of time. Like,
Okay, it was a while. So we got more training than Rey.
well, I think Rey also. I think there was a more significant time skip, and Rey's been training for quite a while.
But it picks up right where the last one left off, and then the entire time there was that ship scene, so it couldn't have been too long.
I think
it
there was.
all happened during the battle.
What all happened during the
It
battle?
all happened during the ship battle. She was with Luke all the whole time during the ship battle. It starts right off with her trying to give the lightsaber to Luke.
This movie?
No. The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, the Resistance pilots are fighting
Yeah.
and stuck in the situation, so it couldn't have been happened over a long period of time.
No, no, the thing is I think there's a significant time skip is because she was training with Leia and stuff, and then Poe was really frustrated with her, saying like,
Oh, between The Last Jedi and this movie?
yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi.
No.
That's what I was getting confused about.
No, why would I be talking about between those two movies?
I don't know, but I was like, no, it picks up right when she's trying to hand Luke the lightsaber.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like, because I think there's a significant time skip between The Last Jedi and this movie.
Yeah.
Because, Poe was really frustrated with her, and it's like, you've been here forever, training, for what? And she's like, oh, I'm becoming a Jedi.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, here's some non-spoiler stuff. I really liked the visuals. Visuals were great. As you said, the characters, they got more development in this than really any of the other movies. Kylo, Rey, even Poe. The only thing that really bothers me is Poe and Rey's friendship never developed. You can see they're clearly friends with Finn, both of them are, but the three of them, at the end...
Well, you might get into a little
Yeah,
spoiler.
I'm not gonna say it, but there's just a scene where they're all together and it makes them look like they're friends, but you never really see anything between.
Yeah, like I said, I like the character development in this movie, but then some characters develop more than others.
Yeah, definitely. The droids had some good character development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of really funny characters in this, that like little like new characters that they introduced that aren't super significant to the plot or anything, but they're just funny.
Yeah, one oddly becomes very significant to the plot.
Yeah, just that kind of out of nowhere, they're like, "Yo."
Yeah, but he was probably one of my favorite new droids that were introduced.
Yeah.
Significant one. He was really funny. Okay.
You want to go ahead and start trying to move on to spoilers?
Yeah. Oh, I want to say this. The humor feels like it works in this movie. The Last Jedi was kind of hit or miss, but I feel like it wasn't forced into this one like the last one felt. It felt kind of natural like the originals felt.
Yeah, like little like it didn't feel like, oh, we're going to purposely throw a joke in here to make everyone laugh. It felt like, oh, we're going to have a character do something that makes sense to the character that would be kind of funny.
Yeah, and that's what made it funny.
Yeah, because you saw what the characters did. Like, I guess this isn't really a spoiler, but there's the point where C-3PO says something and then everyone's looking at him. He's all like, oh, and then he turns around to see what everyone's looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, C-3PO was great in this movie.
Yeah, I really liked him.
Another thing is, I would go as far to say, even if you didn't really care about the characters too much in the other movie, because I think a first movie's job is to set up the characters. In a trilogy, the first movie's job should be to set up the characters, the second would be to develop them, and the third would be to conclude their arcs.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like they didn't get much...
Yeah, this third movie feels like it was the two middle stages in one.
Yeah, I feel like characters didn't get that much development in The Last Jedi. So, although I think Finn got his development in The Last Jedi, and you got to follow through on his in this one, because it was basically where, I don't think this is a spoiler, because it's obvious that he's going to stay in the Resistance.
Yeah.
But in the last one, he was about to desert because he didn't want any part of it, but now he's following through on becoming a Resistance fighter, even though I guess he kind of even resolved his arc in the last one when he tried to hit the...
Well, yeah, that was already like resolved in the last movie.
I guess he's just continuing his character. Yeah. Anyway, they took Rose completely out of this movie.
Yeah,
she's in it she has a few dialogue bits, and the relationship...
Well, she's in the movie, but
not nearly as much as the last one. She is not integral.
No, she's not integral to the plot, but
they also kind of muddle the relationship between the two. I got kind of thinking it was a romance between the two, but they don't really expand on that.
Yeah, no, I think that's just because people said it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's nasty. I feel bad for the actress for Rose because I didn't think it was her fault. She was just a horribly written character.
Yeah, I just didn't... I didn't hate The Last Jedi as much as everyone else did, but
No.
I still don't think it was the best movie.
No. And if you hated The Last Jedi, this is definitely a much more constructed movie.
Yeah, it's definitely a step up.
Yeah, I expected to hate it, like I said earlier, but this might be one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
It was a really good movie.
Yeah, okay. So, now we're going to get into some spoiler discussion. So...
Kylo died.
I'm gonna have to put up a spoiler warning a little before this, just...
Oh, no, you just gotta say, you said we're getting into spoiler discussion, that's when they click off.
Yeah. No, because this is how I got spoiled for the movie. They're like, getting into spoilers, Rey's a Palpatine. And I was like, what the heck? I wasn't off the video yet.
Yeah. Don't maybe shout so much because there is people in this house that haven't seen it.
Yeah, sorry about that. But, okay, starting off with the spoilers. I love how Rey's a Palpatine. I was super angry that she was just randomly OP and everything seemed to go her way, but hey, her being a Palpatine makes sense for the plot and her Force powers.
Yeah, I don't know, but Rey always seems just a little bit incompetent to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, like even like the fight between Kylo and her, like when they're like on the destroyed Death Star and everything.
That was a cool scene though.
It was cool, but like the fight itself, like, it seemed so one-sided. Rey was just barely, like, able to keep up with Kylo, and Kylo just seemed to be just not even really trying to attack her. Because, like, I think if he was, like, actually trying to kill her in that moment, because I don't think he was.
Yeah.
If he was trying to kill her in that moment, Rey would have been dead.
Yeah. Because Rey towards the end of the fight, she was just beaten down and...
yeah, like just barely able to even hold on to her lightsaber, just like barely swinging it, and then Kylo's just shut up.
Yeah. There's that one scene though where Rey. Okay, by the way, I think we should start talking about things. We need to section this. This will be things we did like, and then we'll move on to things we didn't like.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rey with her lightsaber. Where are we going with this? Oh yeah, when she was trying to get Chewbacca out of the thing, and she's like, "No, this way," and she just straight up.
Yeah, she just shot lightning out of her hand, and I think Kylo knew that was going to happen because she's a Palpatine, and I'm pretty sure that's like canon. That's a Palpatine specific power,
Well, I think Vader and stuff can use it too.
Yeah, well, it's a dark side power,
I
think, but
it might run stronger with Palpatines.
Yeah, because like Palpatine's like
it's all he does.
Yeah, and also like the effects with Palpatine and stuff, dude, he just looked cool. Like it just looked good, and like that final ending scene where he just started shooting lightning up into the sky, and like you really saw how powerful he really was.
Yeah, and there was some stuff in this movie that was definitely damage control for the last one, because even though The Last Jedi had some good things, it made the First Order seem completely incompetent.
Yeah,
they were awful. Kylo Ren was whiny. He was not a good leader. Snoke, you didn't see him as a good leader.
No. And then it also kind of makes sense in a little bit, because if things didn't happen the way they happened in The Last Jedi, I think things might have not happened in this movie the way they did.
Mm-hmm,
and I think like the Emperor was always kind of pulling the strings. Like that's what it was saying, because he was Snoke. But
yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that being the case.
Because the whole movie, like, he was just manipulating Kylo the entire time, because because I think he knew Kylo wouldn't actually kill Rey.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the movie, he's like, I never wanted you dead.
That's true. And I mean, I know he was manipulating the strings on this one, but I don't think that was the plan for the entire series originally.
No, but it
made sense.
If you
apply it to the...
Well, I mean, this is the movie from the first director, right?
It is, yeah. So he could have written it, but it doesn't seem like it flows well because of the middle movie.
Yeah, but that's the problem, though.
Yeah.
Is because...
Disney needs to stop doing this crap where it's just one director's vision. I mean, where it's not one director's vision. They need to have one continuous director direct everything so it flows well and makes sense.
Yeah, I think they've just been really lucky with the Marvel movies. Like having different directors direct different movies. And
okay, I'm not going to lie, that makes sense. Because there are just so many Marvel movies, and if you want to do Star Wars spin-off movies, like I think Rogue One and Solo, those were fine to have different directors, but if you're doing a trilogy, a continuous trilogy...
Oh yeah, they have to have like the same type of vibe and feel, plot.
Yeah.
because if you lose that just in the middle of a trilogy, you kind of just lose the flow of the trilogy. And I think that's going to be something that really is going to bother a lot of Star Wars fans, especially like later in the future, whenever like we're like, hey, like we were showing our kids Star Wars and stuff, and then we're like, oh crap, we have to watch this movie, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of how a lot of people felt about the prequels.
Yeah. I hate episode 1. I think most people do.
Episode 1's not very good, but then there's a couple of cool action scenes in episode 1. Yeah. That's my main thing I like about episode 1 is there's the actions. The one thing I like about the prequels though is that the Jedi actually seem like competent fighters, but then in the original trilogy, like especially I love the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And like they're just kind of standing there going like, oh, I'm gonna stab you, and then they just poke each other's swords. They're like, oh,
yeah,
stay back. No.
I feel like it was almost limited by the way Darth Vader can move.
It was also limited with the way they did the lightsabers and all kinds of stuff. Like, I think the main reason a lot of the fighting scenes in the original trilogy are a little awkward is because
visual effects.
Yeah.
Limitations.
Just the limitations in technology that they had.
Yeah.
But overall, this movie I think it's just a big improvement in the trilogy overall. Did we talk about things we didn't like?
We didn't really focus on things we like yet. It was we kind of jumbled it together.
Yeah. I think we kind of covered everything we liked, though. We talked about a lot of the stuff we liked.
We didn't talk about Kylo's redemption.
Oh, yeah. That was one thing I did like a lot. Just his story, how he was kind of fighting with himself, even just throughout the whole trilogy, you know?
Yeah, Kylo was always my favorite character.
Yeah, I've always liked him a lot. And I think he really brought the acting. The actor, I forget his name, but he really brought it this movie.
He was really good. Although the conversations him and Rey had where I don't know what they were doing with some stuff, like where he reached out to grab Rey and he just ripped off her necklace and it was all over his ship.
I think they have a connection, and that's how they were able to do that.
Well, they do. They're like each other's counterbalance in the Force, is what I think. Yeah.
Or like, I think they're just heavily connected through the Force, and they're able to do things.
The dynamic between them two were really cool. I almost saw Kylo as a second main character, so whenever he fought the Emperor with Rey, I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, because I never thought, like, he never seemed malevolent, I guess. Well, he did do a lot of bad stuff, but he never seemed irredeemable throughout the entire trilogy.
Yeah, because it always showed him confused. He didn't know if he really wanted to do this, but this is how he thought it had to be.
Yeah, especially with, like, the point where he killed his dad. That point, he was, like, not into it.
Yeah. But that's the conflict that arose within him. After he killed his dad, he was like, I can't keep doing this, but at the same time, I've killed my dad, I'm irredeemable.
Yeah, he's like, I have to keep going down this path, I've chosen it. And there's also the point wherever I think Rey's talking to him, and she's like, you don't have to do this. And he's like, I can't go back to my mom after what I've done.
He also tried to kill her, too.
Yeah. He's like, I've tried to kill my mom, I killed my dad. And he's like, I can't go back. I'm too far gone.
I've killed a whole bunch of younglings, and basically, I am Anakin.
He's literally Darth Vader reincarnated.
Yeah. That last scene with Rey, though, when she, like, dual-wielded the lightsaber and just shot the lightning back at Palpatine.
I really liked Palpatine. That was my favorite part of the movie. Just the way he looked, the way he acted, and just how evil. His
master plan.
Yeah, you really felt like it was good against evil in this movie.
Yeah, and then it was definitely the most grandiose thing I think I've ever seen in Star Wars, with the way the final battle was.
Yeah, the freaking lightning tower. Yeah. That was my favorite scene, wherever he's just like, oh, what did he was just like, I'll show you how useless your resistance is. And
he just shot lightning up.
Yeah, and then that was just so cool.
If Rey didn't distract him again, he would have single-handedly destroyed
the entire resistance.
And 1,000 of his own stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was literally just destroying everything up there.
Yeah.
Man, it was just such a good movie.
Yeah, then you had all these Sith in the background, like
Yeah, that was so cool.
yeah, Rey.
I think Rey single-handedly destroyed a religion, though.
Not single-handedly because of the Jedi within her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she definitely could have done that alone. She was like dead, and then she did die. But then Kylo was like, "Nah, I'm gonna give you everything. Like,
Yeah,
literally everything."
Yeah, but then they kissed. That was the one thing I didn't like. The kiss at the end, I didn't like that because you interpret it as like you didn't see it as like they love each other kiss,
Yeah.
but it seemed kind of like it, especially with Kylo's smile, and then he just died.
Well, dude, the guy's probably never got a nice kiss in his life. He's probably just happy.
Yeah, he's probably never hugged anyone in his life.
No.
He has got some deep-seated issuhes. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think Han and Leia were the best parents.
They definitely weren't,
No.
especially Han.
No. He was probably like, oh, this is my kid, whatever, I don't care. 'Cause I don't even know I was getting her pregnant.
Chewie had my first kid.
Oh, God. So you just want to do some final thoughts and close it out here?
Yeah, wait. Some things oh wait, dude, since this is spoilers, I want to talk about the little puppet man. Oh wait, the practical effects. They were so good in this movie. I love how they blended practical effects with CGI.
Yeah, practical effects. I love the practical effects, and like it seemed like there was a lot of practical effects in this movie that they just either enhanced with CG, you know, like
to make them look smoother, moving, or
yeah, like I remember there was the little girl alien that gave Rey a necklace.
Yeah.
And I really liked the part where she put the necklace on Rey's neck because instead of the hands, looking like a puppet, they like moved naturally and like the character's face moved.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was still a puppet, but they just enhanced certain aspects of it with CG.
Yeah, and I think practical effects done right looks far better than CGI.
Yeah, I really like how, and I don't mind it whenever there's practical effects that are enhanced slightly with CGI.
Yeah. And, you can't do everything with practical effects,
Yeah,
which is what this movie realizes.
Yeah.
C-3PO, they made a kind of a sick joke about him. Like, they're like, your memory's going to be on. And he's like, what are you doing? Taking a last look at my friends. And then you're just like, oh, yeah. And then he, like, shuts off his memory. And then it all happens so quickly.
Yeah. Well, no, he's like, wait, I have an idea. And then he's like, okay. And then he shuts him off.
I was messed up for the time because you're like, did C-3PO just like die?
Yeah.
But then he comes back, so I guess it kind of lightens the weird blow that they took.
I remember the part where you think Chewie died, though. Like, that part, like, literally my mouth just dropped.
Yeah.
I was just like, my God.
Me and Austin looked at each other in the theater, and
we were just like, did that just happen like that?
Is Chewie straight up dead? The part with Hux where he says, no, they shot me in the leg.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then he just shoots him.
Yeah.
Then we found the spy.
The First Order, I still love the way everything looks. The new jetpack troopers, that whole system with the speeders and how they would launch them up.
Yeah, I just liked the First Order in this movie. It just was really cool.
Definitely, it felt like a threat like it did in the first movie and not like some kind of weird joke in the second.
So I'm ready to move on to like final verdicts. I have been, because I keep forgetting what happened in the movie.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and then you bring it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was cool.
Oh, the thoughts between Poe and that other girl that you've never heard of before were never finalized.
Well, I think it was just saying like.
But what it mean? What it mean he was a spice runner?
What?
What it mean he was a spice runner?
I think he was just some sort of drug dealer.
Oh, okay, that's what I assumed. But
yeah,
they seemed like bounty hunters the way they were initially approaching them.
Well, yeah, I think they were kind of just bad dudes in general.
Yeah. I like the scene where he's like looking at her like, "Come on."
Yeah, like, you want to get over here?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Nah." He's like, "Okay."
That weird scene with the basilisk under the tunnels, where they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's a feral animal! It's gonna eat us!"
And then Rey's like, "Nah, guys, I'm just gonna heal this cut on its butt, and then it's gonna get out of our way."
Yeah, and then it's like, they're like, "Rey, you should seriously step back."
And then she's like, "No, guys."
And she just touched it, and it's like, oh, thank you. And then it runs away and it smacks a little hole in the wall with its tail.
Yeah, because Rey knew that would happen somehow.
Force.
With the Force.
I thought she was going to start speaking parcel tongue. That was so stupid. I hated that part.
I kind of liked it.
I mean, I understood the sentiment, but no one would act that way.
No, definitely not. But overall, I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah, it's amazing. You got to see Leia training, which is something that's never been brought up in like canon movies.
I think it might have been mentioned in passing before, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was ever like shown.
Yeah, Leia's lightsaber getting shown in a movie was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then also the de-aging that they did with Mark Hamill and Carrie
That
Fisher.
was really good.
Yeah, that was really cool.
For a second, I thought they almost hired different actors to play them. Like they just
Yeah, like whenever I saw that, I audibly went, "Whoa!"
yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it looked really nice. I kind of want to see a new spin-off with like Mark Hamill as Luke now. I don't know how well it would carry an entire movie.
Well, I don't know if I think they might have just digitally reconstructed the faces because they didn't show a lot of emotion and stuff. I think if they maybe started talking or whatever,
it would look really funky.
Yeah, because I've seen that before.
Yeah, because
they try to bring back actors that have died or something or whatever.
They just smiled, didn't they?
Yeah, they just smiled at each other, I believe.
This really was definitely not a train wreck, though. We've probably forgotten about some things, but it was just it had a lot of fan service in it too, but it was just a complete joyride. I loved it. It felt like I was ready to like consider the series not canon by some of the things I've heard and just how awful this movie sounded, but
yeah, I think there's like a lot of like really hardcore Star Wars fans that are not happy with this movie.
Yeah.
But I think if you just enjoy Star Wars and like kind of like me, if you enjoy Star Wars and you're not like, I think there's probably stuff in there that's probably a little bit lore breaking or whatever, or, you know.
I think one thing that people really hate is it kind of undermines Anakin's position as the one who will bring balance to the Force. But if you want to think about it in a really, really roundabout way, Anakin was born of the Force and he's the first of the Skywalker bloodline.
Yeah.
He then gave birth to... He didn't give birth to Luke. He had Luke as a son and Leia. And then those two went on. And then they helped train Rey. And then she brought balance to the Force. So did Anakin indirectly
and then Kylo was Leia's son.
Yeah. So did Anakin, like...
Did his bloodline bring balance to the Force?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because in the end, I thought it was cute how, well, not really cute, but it was a nice ending how Rey's arc was concluded with her realizing her past didn't matter and except taking on the Skywalker name.
Yeah. I remember when I walked out of the theater, I didn't really understand that, but then you explained to me that in that way, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You want to give this movie a number rating or just...
8 out of 10, man.
Yeah, I would say it's probably a good 8.5.
8.5, maybe.
Maybe almost a 9 for me.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
I can see divide on The Last Jedi, and I could see people being tolerant of The Force Awakens because it was, just set up a trilogy, but this one, I don't really see the divisiveness on it. Because there is some, but I don't necessarily understand it.
I think part of it is just that people are still not happy with how the series was handled.
Yeah, I'm not too happy either, but for it to end out on a
high note.
Yeah, I didn't think they could have fixed it with where they were at, but they did, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Disney Star Wars has been on a roll lately with the fixing of Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, this new movie, and The Mandalorian, and then the returning of the Clone Wars series about to happen. It's Disney era Star Wars is starting to get really good, and I hope it continues.
Yeah, me too. So, I guess we're closing it out here?
Yep. So, this has been Stubborn Weeb with...
Camel X.
And we hope to see you guys in the next video.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, we don't know if we'll have a podcast out this week. Maybe not.
Crunch for time.
It was hard to get us to see the movie last week. We had a lot of finals, so it was hard to really structure anything too deep.
Yeah.
And we will be switching the podcast up, we think. So
maybe it's not going to be as news focused as it is before.
Yeah, we've started to realize there are a lot of channels that already do that, and we want you guys to have a different experience here. So
I love you.
Love you too. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely check it out. I mean, you sat through a whole spoiler talk, so I assume you've seen the movie.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some people like to watch them without seeing the movie. Like, yeah. I remember I've watched a couple of reviews.
It's not so bad.
Spoiler reviews for movies that I know I'm never going to see.
Yeah. But even then, sometimes, like, finding out Rey was a Palpatine, it was surprising, but it didn't really ruin my enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so see you guys next time.
Goodbye. We will eat your biscuit.